We've seen some amazing things, but that, my friends, is something we've never seen.
Brandon Cruz wants advice.
Brandon Cruz wants advice.
Brandon wants advice.
Brandon Cruz wants advice. You have locked yourself into the playoffs.
Nice. Got it.
Talk with old Brandon Cruz wants advice.
Completely speechless, to say the least.
Man, I am honestly so baffled by that decision. Brandon Cruz wants advice. It's Brandon wants advice.
Green flag in the air. Brandon Cruz wants advice to the front.
It's the Brandon Cruz Daily Fantasy Podcast, where I go and look at low-owned plays and strategies specifically designed for GPPs. This is a show for people who are already informed on daily fantasy sports and how these contests operate. If you have a question related to fantasy football or NASCAR that you are embarrassed to ask your normal DFS provider, or if you can't find the answer anywhere else, give me a tweet at BrandonCruzDFS. Most importantly, take everything you hear with a grain of salt and use your best judgment when making entries. Additionally, if you have a gambling addiction, that's not my problem. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into it. This is for week 3 of the NFL preseason. This is going to be going over some players that I like, early looks. I'm recording this Wednesday evening before the games, obviously, so things will come out in the morning, more information will come out, and more people will make videos, blah, blah, blah. I assume that you're getting your information between me and other people, so, we got tomorrow on Twitter. I just wanted to make this out there to tell you about players that I am looking at. I'm going to focus on the Giants at Cincinnati, and then move on to the Ravens at Philadelphia, and then the Panthers at New England, and then the final 3 games of the Thursday night slate: Washington at Atlanta, Jacksonville at Miami, and Green Bay at Oakland. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into it. I don't expect this to be a long episode, so let's look at it. Okay, so looking at the Giants, T.J. Jones should replace Golden Tate in the regular season. This should be the last game where he might get extended run. I'm not really high on T.J. Jones. He's a good receiver. I just don't think he'll end up being on the field a whole lot. Daniel Jones, the quarterback, he played terrible last weekend. Baker Mayfield shitting all over him. This is a game what I would expect. If he's going to play well, he's going to do well here. But it's Daniel Jones. No one's real crazy about him. Those are the only 2 guys I would even think about considering on the Giants defense, or on the Giants team. I'm mainly looking towards the Cincinnati defense in this game, actually, so I have no interest in really anybody else from the Giants. Looking at Cincinnati, the coach said that they won't play starters into the third quarter like they did with their past coach. They used to in Cincinnati. What was it, the last 13 years under the same guy? He would use the third week of the preseason to really have extended run for the starters. That is not what we're looking here. Rodney Anderson, a running back for Cincinnati. He hasn't played this preseason yet due to an injury, but he will get time in this third quarter, I assume, taking on the third string defense for the Giants. I would estimate anywhere from maybe 8 to 12 attempts. That's what I would go off of. Jordan Ellis would be the running back that would start before him, but I would be more interested in Anderson just because there's no real data on him. Tight end Mason Skreck, Schreck. He's going to be the starting tight end for Cincinnati, and he will have extended run, mainly because Everett and a lot of the other tight ends over there are injured right now. He's going to have extended run as well. He'd be the tight end I would target tomorrow. Ryan Finley should get the job. God damn it, what's his name? The beige water pistol himself. The regular quarterback for Cincinnati should do, I just went blank on his fucking name. Whatever, you know who he is. He's the starting quarterback for Cincinnati. He should get, I don't know why I just went blank on the name right fast. Whatever, either way. He'll play a couple drives, then it'll go to Ryan Finley. He should get the job as the backup tight end, or as the backup quarterback this year. So he should play anywhere from, 2 minutes left in the first quarter to halftime or into the third quarter. Then Jeff Driscoll will play as well. But Jeff has also been playing a wide receiver and punt returner in practice. I don't know if he knows that he's not going to get the job or whatnot, but that's really interesting. If you want to look towards upside, having him as a wide receiver and a quarterback could be really cool. I don't know if they're going to use him in that in a game, but he has been practicing as a wide receiver and punt returner. So that's pretty cool to see. Yet again, in this first game, I would target Cincinnati's defense, Mason, the tight end for Cincinnati, and Rodney Anderson. Moving on to Baltimore at Philly. Chris Moore, last week, 6 for 600 yards and a touchdown. Other wide receivers are hurt right now, so Chris Moore is a receiver I'm interested in. Justice Hill, their running back, last week, 98 yards, 1 touchdown. A guy I would look at, and Trace McSorley, a guy that I actually missed on last week. I played I played him the first week, didn't play him the second. But Trace McSorley would be the quarterback that I would look at towards Baltimore. As you can tell, I kind of go through these fast. I mean, some of this is my player pool, some of this is people I'm interested in. Like I said, I want to see what is going on tomorrow in the morning. I just don't have time to record this tomorrow because I got other things to do. Now the Eagles have signed Josh McCown. I love him as a person. He's not going to play much this game, if any, but I just like him, and I'm happy to see that. They got a lot of running backs going on in this backfield, a shitload. I think it's 6 or 7 right now. The guy who should play the most would be Clory Komet. He's coming back from having a small injury, but he should play at least 3 to 4 series, and those are the only guys that I'm interested in this game. I would go with Baltimore's defense if I had to go between those two: Chris Moore, Justice Hill, Trace McSorley. Those would be the guys I'm looking at. Moving at Carolina, Newton is playing the first game since his surgery last year. If he plays, I also like to pair him with Curtis Samuel. He seems to be the breakout star right now in the preseason and of camp for the Panthers. I'm not sure how long either of these guys are going to be on, but that's just how it's looking right now. Not interested in the running back. There's 3 fucking quarterbacks fighting behind Newton for the backup spot. Not interested in there. Just don't think there's enough juice there for fantasy stuff. And I'd rather target the other team in this game, which is New England. I could see a possible New England stack working, mainly because they got a lot of good weapons over there. Jacoby Myers, I don't got to say anything about him. If you've been playing preseason, you already know he's the bomb. Damon Harris, last week, 14 rushes, 80 yards at a 23-yard reception. As Salve DFS, or the guy from New York, whatever his name, I just went blank. He likes receiving backs. I like receiving backs. Everybody in the fantasy spectrum should like running backs that receive, so they add a good upside to ya. Jared Stidham, the quarterback for New England, would be the quarterback that I'm looking towards playing. Him and another guy, but I'll talk about the other guy later. These last 2 weeks have been very, very good for him on a fantasy sports level, or on a DFS level, for a quarterback starting in the preseason. Week 1, he was 14 for 29, 179 yards, 1 touchdown. This last week, 14 for 19, 193 yards, 1 touchdown. I like that. I would like these 3 together. That's why I said possible New England stack. That's who I would look at right there. Looking at Washington Redskins. All right, they got 2 running backs right now that are both fighting for a position. I don't know how much run I don't know how much time they're going to get. But you got and yet again, I'm gonna get shit because I can't take the professional if I can't pronounce the names. I can't pronounce the names worth the shit, man. I am full on autistic when it goes to names. But Semj Pinir, oh my god, these are so bad. And Darius Goosh, whatever. Those 2 running backs are going to see at least a quarter themselves, maybe a bit more for each one. That's what I was seeing on here. Robert Davis, a tight end in both games so far, is a guy I'm interested in as well. If you can find that guy who's at least consistent, and if he can get you a touchdown this weekend, he seems pretty safe. He's got a touchdown these last 2 weeks. Obviously, things can change, but I like him. Another receiver that stands out to me, or actually 2 that stand out to me, not necessarily interested in playing them, but I figured I'd bring this up. Terry McLaurin looked great in camp, but he's only played 1 snap all preseason. This would be the type of guy, if you're looking for a pure GPP lineup, this would be a type of guy I throw in there. Because everybody would be fading him. Just remember that there is such a thing as a stupid pick and a GPP pick. don't confuse the two. And then you got Steve Sims, just another guy in there. Not too interested in this game in general. Atlanta, Russell Gage will not play. About the only guy playable here would be Brian Hill. He didn't do much last weekend. They are entering their 4th week here for the Falcons, so I mean you already pretty much know what they have. They're already cutting people, or not cutting people, but Quinn's already saying that people aren't going to make the team and things of that nature. Moving on to Jacksonville at Miami, Foles and Fournette should play. They should start. They should have at least 3 series or at least the first quarter, but that's about it. You know, Jacksonville is good for their defense, nothing else, man, nothing else, even for preseason. Now Miami is where I'm interested in. Fitzmagic himself will have an extended run this week against Jacksonville. Overall, Fitz has had 5 completed passes for his 14 attempts for 40 yards this preseason. Compare that to Rosen's 23 for 38 and 293 yards. But the coach for Miami is saying that he wants to use this as a legit deciding factor. Jacksonville has a good defense. He wants to see if he can trust Fitzpatrick with this. Sorry about the fucking yawn. I know someone will fucking bitch. He wants to see how Fitzpatrick does here. I like Fitzpatrick for an extended run. I mean, he can't be that highly owned. They're going against Jacksonville defense. That's going to scare a lot of people away. So that's where I would look there for a quarterback. I think that's pretty damn interesting. Green Bay, Kaiser's about the only idiot that I would play from there. I actually like Oakland's defense here. I think Green Bay's going to play like shit. Even if Rodgers plays, I think it's still going to be shitty. Rodgers has been dealing with some pain. He didn't play last weekend. That really fucked up Jimmy Graham and some of the other guys that people thought would be good. And I just think the same thing's going to happen here. For Oakland, Keelan Doss, the wide receiver who made the touchdown against Arizona this preseason. I like him. I also like Alan Lizard, whatever the fuck you want to say. I like him as a wide receiver. I understand that, I flew through this pretty fast and brought up guys that I'm looking at and just brought up guys that I've actually read about. This isn't my entire list here, but like I said, I'm actually off tomorrow. And so what I normally do is I just scour Twitter for about the last 2 hours before the games lock, to see who's playing, see if there's any other news. These are, like I said, this is more of like a look at people that I'm interested in, people that I like. And this wasn't too bad. 12 minutes right there, blew through everything, didn't go on no fucking rants or nothing like that. So guys, thank you for listening. I got fantasy football stuff, actual shit. Like week 1, I'm talking my player pool, people that I like, people that I don't like, why, this and that. Preseason is preseason. That's a wholly different animal. But I got things coming out week 1 for DraftKings and FanDuel. I got NASCAR stuff coming out. I'll be covering Road America and the road races this weekend. Even though the Cup Series are gone, I'll focus on the Xfinity and Truck Series there. Guys, follow me on Twitter, annoy me on Twitter, do things like that. And also, if you make a dumbass or rude comment on my channel and stuff like that, I'm going to keep it. Man, I am not a communist regime. I'm not going to ban you for life. I like Pat Mayo. That's not a dig on Pat Mayo. But I'm not going to ban you for life. I'm not going to delete no fucking comments. If you guys don't like my shit, I understand. But leave those comments, man. I'm not going to delete them. That's your view. I'm not fucking China. I'm not fucking the USSR. You can say whatever the fuck you want, man. I ain't going to delete it. Thank you guys so much for listening. Have a fantastic day. Hopefully you win something tonight. And thank you very much for listening. Peace out.